touch-tone phone, or the internet. So your prescriptions are ready when you are. With our drive-through service, instead of opening a bunch of doors, all you need to do is press a button. Walgreens, the pharmacy America trusts.
Tonight on Larry King Live, radio stars Jim Hightower, Jim Bohannon, Diane Rehm, and Joan Rivers talk politics and more. They'll take your calls tonight, 9 Eastern.
This is my wife.
Pleased to meet you.
And this is little Dougie Jr.
Dougie Jr.
You're the boss? You must have a big TV.
Well, I have a few.
Do you have a satellite dish or AT&T digital cable?
I have a dish.
Then you can't get local channels unless you pay more.
I can't.
No, and you bought all expensive equipment when you could use the cable you already had.
I did?
Yeah. How'd you get to be boss?
AT&T digital cable. It's smarter.
Believe it or not, that was me, 107 pounds heavier. Every year I made the same resolution to lose weight, but I never stuck to it. Then last year I found Nutrisystem.com. And now I'm wearing a size I haven't worn since high school. Nutrisystem made it easy. It's convenient, affordable, and the food tastes great. Make your New Year's resolution come true. Nutrisystem.com. It works.
Log on to Nutrisystem.com and get 1 week of food free.
This is CNN.
Again, reporting to you from CNN Center, the latest developments from Woodland Park, Colorado. A apparent capture of several of the individuals involved in the Texas 7. Those would be the inmates who escaped from a maximum security facility in Texas in mid-December, have been on the run ever since, apparently involved in a shooting at a sporting goods store in Texas on Christmas Eve in which a local police officer was killed. You see here the picture of the Texas 7. Authorities now tell us that 4 of these individuals, those would be George Rivas, who's thought to be the ringleader, Joseph Garcia, thought to be his first lieutenant in this operation, as well as Michael Rodriguez and Randy Halpern. Those are the individuals that authorities in Colorado and in Texas are confirming have been arrested, apprehended in Woodland Park at a trailer park, the Coach Light a recreational vehicle home there outside of Colorado Springs, Colorado. Those 4 individuals have been arrested. The Larry Harper, the 5th individual, said to remain barricaded inside one of the trailer units, the one that the group had been staying in. They were not thought to be harbored by anybody in the trailer park, but rather had come to this facility, rented out a home, and had been staying there for time that we do not know yet at this point. Those 2 individuals that we have not talked about, that would be Donald Newberry and Patrick Murphy. Those are the individuals who are still at large. Although local police did tell reporters earlier they thought there was a possibility, they had reason to believe that the remaining 2 were nearby. At this point, there are no confirmed reports that they have been sighted in this area or that they remain in this area. And that is why there's been a great deal of concern in this area near Colorado Springs, Colorado. There's been an evacuation of local offices. 6 schools in the area have been closed, and people have been told to stay inside. That is because they do not know where these 2 remaining escapees are, and they are very concerned about that. We want to return now to coverage from WFAA, our affiliate in Dallas, Texas. Let's listen.
They would have to detour, and you can see the officers with 2 cars across the road there, making all the vehicles stop and turning them either to the right or to the left as they try to come forward. Many of the roads in this community have been sealed off as authorities try to locate and apprehend all 7 of the Texas 7. Again, 4, maybe 5 in custody. They're still looking for 2 individuals as near as we can tell. They're going to be holding a news conference in just a few minutes. They will also be holding a news conference in Huntsville, of course. That's where our Marianne Razuka is now. Marianne?
Well, John, I should tell you one point to make. All along we've known that law enforcement officers identified 2 additional blood samples in the getaway car back from December 24th. There were 3 blood samples in that car, one that was identified or linked to Aubrey Hawkins, and then 2 additional ones that they suspected belonged to 2 of the escapees. Now, law enforcement officials obviously are going to be looking at the fact that with 2 escapees unaccounted for, the question will be then, are those the 2 that were possibly injured, and are they in fact in the Colorado area or somewhere else? All along they've wondered, they didn't know how serious the injuries were, although they did say there was a lot of blood in that getaway car. They suspected that one was likely a minor injury, but one they thought was probably more serious based on the amount of blood found in the front seat of that getaway car. So again, those 2 are unaccounted for. We are still continuing to get information that Larry Harper is in fact the escapee who was barricaded inside of that mobile home. We've not gotten any information yet. We're expecting Larry Fitzgerald, the prison spokesperson, as well as David Toll, the Irving police spokesperson, to hold this press conference and update us on some of the facts and information as this thing has evolved since yesterday or late yesterday, as you mentioned. But again, we've not heard from, there's an updated press conference at this time. Again, they're all being very careful. Minimal information coming out since this is still an ongoing operation. A lot of high-powered weapons involved. And with so many unknown variables, they want to make sure that they get out of this without any additional officers being injured. But I should tell you that there is a large contingent and force of federal, state, local agents, as well as Texas Rangers on their way to that Colorado area to assist with this investigation and hopefully bring some closure to this month-long process. John?
The reward for the Texas 7, Marianne, I understand, had gone all the way up to $500,000, and this, in fact, had been the main story of the Fox broadcast, America's Most Wanted. You heard that?
Absolutely. It did peak up to $500,000, and I should tell you, some law enforcement officers were actually a bit concerned that the amount was getting so high that it might work against them, that maybe somebody out there who would want to turn them in, a known accomplice or an associate, would wait for the money to get higher. But as it turns out, this tip apparently came from a television viewer who saw it on the Fox program and called this tip in, we understand, at least several days ago. Law enforcement officials began working this like they have all of the other hundreds of tips and leads, and as you've seen, many of our viewers have seen from television news reports, they have traveled to New York City, to Florida, all over the country, following up on each and every tip. They gave each one as much importance as the other. Nothing was looked at less than the other, and they traveled the country, and apparently this particular tip started off like all other tips, but in this particular case, they were able to locate the escapees, and here we are today.
Marianne, let's go. You've been following this since it first began back in December 13th. I understand, however, now Kevin Dory of the Woodland Park Police, we have some information that comes from him in the form of some sound. Let's hear what he has to say.
In the coach light area, and the 4th one was taken from the motorhome area.
Again, that's a police officer of the Woodland Park Police Department. I didn't hear much of that myself, and we'll try to get that rewound and get that information back to you in just a second. Marianne, are you with us, Marianne?
I am, John.
Okay. Let's go back to the beginning of all this. There was some...
All right, CNN is interrupting coverage that you've been watching from WFA in Dallas' situation involving the Texas 7. We want to go now to Colorado, a situation unfolding in Woodland Park, Colorado. Figure familiar to those of us here at CNN, Rick Salinger, reporter for KCNC TV in Denver, joining us now with information that he has received, updated information from local authorities in Woodland Park, Colorado. Rick?
The question that was posed is, where are the other 2? Do you have any ideas?
At this point in time, we really don't have any idea where the other 2 are. We're not even sure that the other 2 they may be in the motorhome itself. We don't have any reports that they were even in the area from any of the witnesses prior.
Can you give us any indication of how the tip came to you other than it was through the FBI?
Basically, that is how we got knowledge of it, is that they had gathered some information that they may be in our area, that some of their tips came from that they may be in the coach light area. Then we were in contact with individuals at the coach light who then looked at several photos and said, they believe that they may be these individuals in this motorhome, and that's kind of how it all started, and that happened sometime late yesterday.
How long do you think that these escapees may have been in your area?
We believe that they've been in our area here for well over a week.
What gives you that indication?
Because they checked into the motor or into the trailer park, and the individual that runs it said, "Yep, they're here."
All right. What is happening as far as negotiations go with the fifth person, Larry Halprin, who is believed to be in that motorhome?
The last report I have is that he is still held up in the motorhome. The FBI has some hostage negotiators here, and they are trying to talk him out of the motorhome itself.
Have there been any shots fired at all?
I keep hearing that report. However, I can't confirm that at this time anyway, until I get back on the horn, and I'll find out if we've got anything going on up that way.
A lot of people may be watching us right now who live in the Woodland Park area or who have relatives here. What is the status of the residents of this town?
Well, basically, the area, you know, as far as down here by the coach slide, folks need to be, of course, cautious, and they always need to be cautious, you know, anytime you have a situation like this. But we just ask folks that if they see anything very suspicious, to please call their local law enforcement agency and report if they see any suspicious individuals that do not normally frequent their area.
We see the roadblock behind us. Is the town shut off?
Basically, it's not. This is a north-south little route right here, and we are diverting people on a frontage road around this particular area.
All right. You have some photos there?
Yes, I do. We have photos of the 5 individuals that are currently in the area. 4 of them are in custody. These 4 gentlemen here, and this individual here is the individual that we're negotiating with at this time.
And that is Larry Harper. He has apparently been serving 50 years for aggravated sexual assault in prisoner, and I believe that is certainly one of the less severe of the crimes, if you can use that characterization at all. You have a number of murderers that you have taken into custody.
Yes, we do. Several of them have been in they're in life for capital murder and life for aggravated robbery, aggravated kidnapping. Another murder, 50 years, doing 50 years as a murder, and 30 years as injury to a child. So yes, we do have 4 individuals that are extremely dangerous, and we do have them in custody, and working with the 5th one and looking for the 6th and 7th.
All right, CNN watching coverage from KCNC, our affiliate in Denver, Colorado, of the events unfolding in Woodland Park, Colorado. Local reporter for KCNC, Rick Salinger, speaking with a local police officer of Woodland Park about the latest information they're getting. Woodland Park, as you see, is a community very close to Colorado Springs, about 14 miles outside of Colorado Springs, in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. You see that they have closed off some of the roads in this area. There is still a great deal of concern because 2 of the individuals thought to be part of the Texas 7 remain at large, and the local authorities did say they had reason to believe that they might still be nearby, but they have not confirmed any sightings or any reported sightings in the area of the 2 individuals who are still thought to be at large. That would be Donald Newberry and Patrick Murphy. The other 5, here's the rundown on that. 4 of those individuals have been arrested by authorities in Woodland Park, Colorado, including George Rivas, who is thought to be the ringleader of this group, and Joseph Garcia, who is thought to be his right-hand first lieutenant involved in this breakout from the maximum security facility in Texas back in mid-December. The other individuals, Michael Rodriguez and Randy Halprin, also have been captured by authorities there in Colorado this afternoon. And Larry Harper is the man who authorities say they are still negotiating with, still trying to get him to come out of the mobile home that he has barricaded himself in. Now, in this latest interview that we just saw with Officer Kevin Doherty of the Woodland Park Police, the KCNC reporter heard that they do believe still that these 2 individuals are at large, and there is concern because these men have reportedly been in the park, according to Woodland Park Police, for over a week now. That's when they came in and rented this facility, which is part of the Coach-like recreational vehicle park there in Woodland Park, Colorado. We're going to continue our coverage, live coverage here on CNN. We have been standing by for 45 minutes now. We've been waiting for a live news conference from the Texas Board of Corrections in Huntsville, Texas. We've been standing by awaiting their news report. They are supposed to brief reporters there in Huntsville. The cameras have been standing by, as are we, and we're going to continue our coverage after a break here.
Bill, I want you to meet my Kelly. Bill's the
president of Kraus Chemical. Congratulations, little lady. Looking forward to getting out into the real world. Find yourself a rich husband, huh?
Actually, I plan to make my own money.
Ooh, quite the firebrand you got here, huh?
Kelly.
Hey, listen, I got a nephew I want you to meet. He's an investment banker.
I do my own investing, but thanks.
Call him. He's loaded.
So I bought 350 shares.
Uh-oh. Stock market can get awfully tricky, sweetheart.
Well, I have an Ameritrade account. They have lots of research so I can make decisions myself. And it's only $8 a trade.
Call my nephew. He's smart. And he's good looking. Just like his uncle, huh? Hey, Kelly! Calling him already, huh?
No, just dumping a stock. Didn't like the management.
Open a cash account with $500 and get 50 internet equity trades at half the commission in the first 3 months. Go to Ameritrade.com. Ameritrade. It's how you get somewhere on Wall Street.
Superior Bank has never had a response like the one it's received for its new Opti-Loan program. Homeowners across the country are receiving up to 90 days with no mortgage payments, up to 3 months payment protection against illness or unemployment, and can now even skip a payment if the need arises. Join with the thousands of homeowners who've already called Superior at 1-888-678-7777 and find out how Superior's new Opti-Loan program can help you.
Among the highest number of graduates in computer science and engineering in the country, over 4,700 graduates in computer and information sciences, over 5,000 graduates in engineering, including chemical and bioengineering, and they all graduated from the same place. Just who produces this kind of talent for the workforce each and every year?
Pennsylvania.
CNN now continuing our live coverage and reporting on the situation underway and unfolding in Woodland Park, Colorado. That is where local authorities say they have arrested men they believe are 4 of the original Texas 7. Those are the escapees from the maximum security facility in Texas in the middle of December. They've been on the run ever since. And at this hour, authorities in Colorado tell us that they have been able to arrest 4 of the Texas 7. Those would be George Rivas, Michael Rodriguez, Joseph Garcia, and Randy Halpern. Authorities in Colorado, in Teller County, Colorado there, outside of Colorado Springs, say that a 5th man, Larry Harper, is still barricaded inside the mobile home park where the others were arrested, that he has demanded to talk to a family member by telephone, and they are trying to negotiate with him so that they can bring him into custody without incident as well. The most important thing here being that local authorities say that they have not received any reports of any shots fired, and that has been of great concern because the individuals, the 7 escapees from the Texas prison, were convicted on very serious crimes. There were 2 killers involved, 2 rapists, a child abuser, a kidnapper, and a robber involved, and they were all the original Texas 7. They left the prison in Texas with 14 revolvers, a shotgun, a rifle, and more than 200 rounds of ammunition. They were then involved in a robbery in a sporting goods store in Irving, Texas, where they shot a local police officer to death on Christmas Eve, and they have been on the run ever since. At this point, authorities have not been able to give locations or any reports of the whereabouts of Donald Newberry or Patrick Murphy. These are the 2 remaining members of the Texas 7. But there is a great deal of concern in the community of Woodland Park, and indeed, local reports say that within a half-mile area of the trailer park where the others were arrested, there's been a complete shutdown of activity. Authorities have shut everything down. As you see, there are roadblocks underway. There's been an evacuation of offices. 6 local schools have been closed. People have been told to stay inside until authorities are able to assess the situation and are able to make sure that everyone in this area is safe. You see that this is a pretty mountainous area. It's outside of Colorado Springs in the foothills, the very tip of the Rocky Mountains, on the very edge of the Rocky Mountains, southern part of Colorado, and very close to Colorado Springs. Colorado Springs, of course, is also home to a rather large Air Force facility as well. And you see that there is a great deal of police activity underway. Local reports from Dallas, Texas say Texas Rangers, as well as other authorities, police authorities in the state of Texas, are on their way up to Colorado Springs to join in and try to help to end this situation there as peaceably as is possible. Again, reminding our viewers that we've been standing by waiting for a live news conference from the Texas Board of Corrections. They are said to be offering a news conference in Huntsville, Texas, as soon as they're able to bring us more detail on that. At this point, we've been waiting about 50 minutes for it and have not yet heard anything from the Texas Board of Corrections about what is happening there. But they have advised reporters and television stations that they do plan to make a statement, so we are standing by for that. We are now going to join KUSA, one of our other affiliates in Denver, Colorado, their coverage of what's going on in Woodland Park. Let's listen to this.
It's a very strong chance that those two others are still in the state of Colorado.
Yeah, it is a strong possibility that they are here. They're telling us that they received the tip late yesterday afternoon, and then as far as a time frame goes, the three fugitives emerged from that trailer home at about 10 o'clock this morning, and then the fourth one emerged about 30 minutes later. So if that gives you some idea of when they were apprehended, now we're approaching 3 o'clock, and those two others could be long gone by now. But
Sure.
Certainly all authorities throughout Colorado are on high alert right now.
What is the latest on the negotiation with Larry Harper, who is supposedly holed up or barricaded in?
They're not saying much about the negotiations, and they certainly won't let us anywhere near there, Adele. The road is blocked off about a half a mile before you reach the motorhome where he's holed up, so we can't get anywhere near there. And as far as how many deputies are there or who's doing the negotiating or any of the specifics, we're just, not being, we just don't know.
Okay. Also, Ginger, as far as the three schools are not in session today, but there are three schools we understand in Woodland Park, and they have evacuated officers along with that mobile home park. What other impact on the community has that particular event had?
Well, basically, they've evacuated about a half a mile area, just the area where the mobile home park is. But other than that, the rest of the community is not really affected by it.
Okay.
They've really evacuated a very specific area.
Does Highway 24 run right smack through town?
Right through town.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the main road through Woodland Park.
Okay.
Ginger, for people living there in that area around Woodland Park, probably have seen the news coverage, might be trying to get back into their homes. We know that you're at that area that's been barricaded off or that's been blocked off. Are there a lot of residents of the sealed off area who are kind of milling around wondering when they might be able to get back into their homes?
There's not, Jim, and basically because we're not very close to any of the homes. The homes are sort of off on the side streets, and so there's no residents milling around the area where we're located in right now. Mm-hmm. We do have some crews that are in other parts of Woodland Park right now, just trying to get a feel for what's going on in other parts of the town. So as soon as those crews get back, they can give us a better understanding of what residents are going through and what their thoughts are.
Okay. Ginger, we're going to put you on standby here for just a second. Thanks a lot for the information. Jim, you were talking about this interview with the woman that would talk with CNN about befriending the suspect.
Going to church services, introducing him around to friends, having no idea who he was.
Right. Actually, we're going to hear from her right now.
My dog was barking, and I went outside.
All right, CNN watching coverage from KUSA in Denver. Clearly a lot of affiliates watching each other. CNN watching affiliates both in Denver and in Dallas, Texas, as well as our affiliate KKTV in Colorado Springs, as we try to pool all this information and bring you the latest and clearest information about what's going on in Woodland Park, Colorado. And this is on the edge of the Rocky Mountains, very close to Colorado Springs, where authorities say that earlier today they were able to arrest 4 men they believe are part of the Texas 7, the 7 escapees from a Texas maximum security facility who disappeared on December 13th, who were involved in a holdup and the shooting of a police officer in Irving, Texas on Christmas Eve. 4 of the 7 were arrested in Woodland Park, Colorado earlier today, and a 5th man, that would be Larry Harper, remains barricaded inside the RV park where the 4 others were arrested. Now, most importantly, at this point in the day, 2 men, that would be Donald Newberry and Patrick Murphy, are still at large. Authorities say they do have reason to believe they might still be in the area, but at this point they have no reports specifically that they are able to give us about where they have been seen or whether they might still be in the area. KUSA's report included information that authorities are searching for a 1975 brown Ford conversion van with white curtains and temporary plates. Again, that information comes to us from KUSA TV in Denver, and that is the report they are being given from authorities, that they're looking for this 1975 brown Ford conversion van, and they want anyone who has seen it to report in immediately so that they might be able to work more quickly on being able to find these two remaining escapees, Donald Newberry and Patrick Murphy. You can see that authorities in Woodland Park, Colorado, have tried to close off the area. We're told an area of about a half mile, very close to the recreational vehicle park, where the arrests were able to take place earlier in the day. And in this area, an evacuation of offices, 6 schools have been closed. People have been told to stay inside. Pretty much a shutdown of this area of Woodland Park, Colorado. Reporters also being kept at a distance from the RV park. But as you can see, there are a number of helicopters flying about trying to develop additional information about what is going on the ground as authorities continue their negotiations with Larry Harper, who remains barricaded inside the RV park, according to the latest report we have received from authorities there. Larry Harper, as you see there, the man remains barricaded inside the mobile home park. We had heard earlier from the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, the spokesman there, who told us that Harper had asked to speak by telephone with his father as one of the conditions of him turning himself in. Most importantly in all this, two of the most important features are that these two men, Donald Newberry and Patrick Murphy, remain at large. But so far, authorities have not given us any reports of any shooting, of any firing, any kind of assault on authorities as they moved in to try to bring these people in to apprehend them. They have not had any reports of any shots fired, and that is very significant, because the inmates, when they left the Texas Maximum Security Facility, left with a rather significant arsenal, 200 rounds of ammunition, 14 revolvers, shotgun, and rifle, and then were able apparently to get some additional weapons when they robbed a sporting goods store on Christmas Eve in Irving, Texas. There's been a great deal of concern that given the level of crime, the criminal activities that these men had previously been convicted of, and the amount of firepower at their leisure there, that they might turn on any authorities who try to move in on them to try to affect their capture. And there had been a great deal of concern that they might fire on officers who would move in on them. We are now receiving a report here at CNN that Larry Harper, the man who authorities told us was still barricaded inside the RV park, a short time ago we received information from authorities in Teller County, Colorado, that they were able to throw some gas into that area, apparently to try to smoke him out. Larry Harper is the only person they have reported to reporters remains barricaded inside the mobile home park. But of course, there's also concern that Donald Newberry and Patrick Murphy might still be at large, might still be in the area. They really aren't sure about that. For the last hour here at CNN, we have been standing by and bringing you live continuing coverage of all that is happening in Woodland Park, in part because we are waiting for a statement from the Texas Board of Corrections, of course, handling the very beginning of the escape and all the information coming to us. We're waiting for a press statement from them in Huntsville, Texas, and we will bring that to you live. We are expecting it any time now, so please stay with us as we continue our coverage after a break here.
In a world of opportunity, how do you find a financial advisor who's right for you? Do you want one who works for the oldest company or the youngest? Do you want one with the fastest growing company or the most deeply rooted in tradition? Or do you simply want one who listens to you like you are the only investor in the world? Raymond James, you first.
Tonight on The Point, one set of twins up for adoption and two sets of promised parents. Who should win this international custody battle? Tonight, 8:30 Eastern.
Hear what parents are saying about the most famous name in reading, Hooked on Phonics.
You should have seen him the first time he had one of the Hooked on Phonics books. He was running through the house. He was celebrating. Look, wait a minute. Sit down. I want to read this book to you.
Hooked on Phonics guarantees you'll see an improvement in your child's reading in 4 weeks or your money back. You'll also receive the World Book Encyclopedia.
Just 4 performances beginning February 10th. Call 503-241-1802 today.
Adventure, romance, suspense, the classics. There's something for everyone on the A&D Movie